we were talking about today, and it is using still life to demonstrate the techniques used when using charcoal, the techniques when you use drawing. So I'm going to be talking about chiaroscuro, which is probably the main part of charcoal drawing. Different shading techniques, the use of line and form, which you'll understand hopefully by the end of this. Fine charcoal, compressed charcoal, the differences, blending stumps, kneaded erasers, little things that we use when using charcoal to draw still life is probably the best way to draw it. And then a little bit of symbolism on still life, this still life. So, chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro, what is it? Basically by using, it's the representation in terms of light and dark. So there is our light source, it produces light, the table is everything light, and then everything around it is dark. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not really. Can you give me an example? This is chiaroscuro. It's a bit blurred, but Google, you know. So that's the dark side. There's the light source comes in here. It creates a dark side of it. Its best example is obviously on something that's a sphere or something like that because it helps with that. Shadows down here. It's basically chiaroscuro. Anyone have any questions on that?
Is it the concept of where the shadow falls, or what is it actually?
So chiaroscuro is just a terminology. It's just a terminology that's used when you're referring to light and dark within a drawing or a painting or something like that. So it's not necessarily always to do with still life either. So when you're drawing chiaroscuro as well, it's just a method that's used to develop depth and use lighting within a painting or a drawing. So as you can see here, when this person has drawn this, the different shadings that they've used. And also, you can see that the light source is coming in from this angle, creating a darker section over here. And obviously, you can see that the light is over here and not so much on this side in the background. This is by Jonathan Cook, who's an artist that I thought you guys might enjoy. He uses chiaroscuro a lot in his works. You can see again where the light source is coming through on that angle. The dark around here. Let's run through this quickly. Some more of his works. Not so much chiaroscuro used in this one. This was a non-example so much. You still used a little bit down here. You can see that the light source will be coming on this angle, but not as much. It's not as predominant in this work. Again, a bit of light chiaroscuro. So the background, his big, bald, shiny head is nice and light, capturing the light. Goya, that's a representation within a painting. And another one by Rembrandt. So it's been used throughout the ages. Chiaroscuro has been used for ages. But it's definitely predominant a lot more in charcoal. So different charcoals used. This is your vine charcoal that you would use. You'd start off with using this one. So I'll hand a few pieces around. And this is what you use at the start. It's easily, it's not as tough as the other ones. So it's easily erased, and you can just smudge it back into your works if you make a mistake or something, you just smudge it back in. It's all good. As compared to compressed charcoal, which is a lot harder. It's made for making bold marks, and usually comes in a pencil form as well. And that's your dark one. Now this would be used when you maybe using an outline. So you can see here, that would be what we'd use when you're using your darker, your more compressed one. And then for your little shading and stuff like this, you'd use your vine charcoal at the back. And that's to create line and form. That helps create line and form. So what I was saying before is line is what your outline would be, and then your form is, so you're using shading and etch, like shading and chiaroscuro and everything like that to make it more bold, to make it stand out of the page, so it becomes almost in a 3D effect. Joe Bradney, is a artist who uses a lot of charcoal and very good with it, and very good at creating chiaroscuro, using chiaroscuro, and also creating with shading techniques and things like that. There's a few of their works. So we're going to be drawing a still life today. This is your little still life that you're going to be drawing. So, what is a still life? Still life is anything. Everything is still. Anything that's not dead is a still life. Everything that is dead is a still life, basically. So when we're drawing still life, you want to start with a little bit like that, and you just give it a nice little new page, darken it up, and then what we use, this is for blending. You just take the corner, give it a nice little rubbing like that. You can also use your hand, you don't have to use one of these. This is just, so, I mean, it gives it a bit of background. You just use your fingers, rub it in. And that's your background. Then you generally take your vine charcoal, you start with that because you can easily be erased and fixed or whatever. If you ever do make a mistake, you've always got what we call a kneaded eraser, which is very good for rubbing things out. It just moulds and everything like that. So you take your little bit, pick a fruit, I'm going to draw the banana, get your shape and everything right. The best thing about charcoal as well is that you can, it's so easily to, look, you make a mistake, you just rub it back into the background, it doesn't matter. So this is what I was talking about when I'm talking about line as well. That's getting your outline basic. It's very, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's getting your general shape. You can use it to get a bit of your depth as well, a bit of shading. Again, chiaroscuro, if we had a more prominent light source apart from this one, you can see you put a light on that way, you could use the fruit from this side. That would be a light source coming in through here, creating a darker area, area everywhere else. So you just put a little bit of shading on each side, your fruit, use your kneaded eraser if you want, and you can just use it to rub out a little bit. Also, use your compressed white charcoal as well, which is really good for just creating that little bit of form, getting it into places, and helping with that. On the sides. How's everyone going? It's good. It's so much better than mine. It's pretty good. So basically,
use this one?
big one. Yeah, so that's your compressed one. Use that for just more your bold, or your outlines and things like that. But you can also use it when you're shading and stuff like that, if it's more dominant shading, or prominent shading. This is pretty good. And don't forget to use your compressed white charcoal as well. Just a little bit there.
Oh, thanks.
And what does that do?
This is just good for if you made too many mistakes, maybe you can put a bit of white charcoal and clear it up, no one will ever notice. But it's also good for building form. So while you're doing that, I'll just give you a little bit on the still lifes. Why did people draw still life? Basically, people use still lifes because they're telling a story, or they use symbolism, a lot of symbolism within still life as well. Definitely more prominent when it first came about. A few examples of still lifes: Van Gogh, and that's a modern day still life as well, which is digitally made. So still life can be anything. It doesn't need to be made from charcoal. It can be a painting or digitally made. And that's basically it. Sweet.
Well done.
Very good.
Cool. Dang, you smashed it. You're sheeted on.
I got the banana.
Did you?
Oh, I tried to.
This is cool.
It's fun.
No, do you want to write down your email address or something so I can send it to you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can stop moving.